Welcome back to the channel. I'm Frank from Daily Grind Running, and today I have a review of the ASICS Novablast 6. The Novablast 5 was one of the most popular shoes of the year last year, but for running shoe enthusiasts, it felt a little bit mushy and soft without a lot of energy return. They have upgraded the foam in version 6, and is that enough to restore it back to its former glory, or is it still stuck in the mud? Let's get out there, get the miles in, and find out for ourselves. So far, the fit on this shoe is really nice. The white colorway looks so good. Well, I retired from the Navy. 20 years, man. 20 years. 20 years is a long time to give to anything. And even if you enjoy something, eventually you'll feel that it's time to move on. Time for something new. This is a pretty simple upper. It fits nicely. The heel lock is nice. I don't notice any sliding. The forefoot is roomy, spacious, not just the width wise, but also the vertical height in the toe box is nice. My toes don't feel crammed. So overall, the lockdown, the fit, and the upper just feels nice. I would say fits true to size. The Pure was more of that narrow, streamlined fit, but still felt really good. This is more open and spacious than that. And after running in the Saucony Triumph 24 with that XT 900 rubber outsole, that's just slick and not very grippy. It's nice to be back in some ASICS grip. A really good, solid outsole. I've gotten crap in the past though. The Novablast 2 and 3 had a terrible outsole, and it has gotten better over the past couple iterations. The 5 was solid. As someone that is heavier in that 210 range, I don't want a shoe that's super heavy and cumbersome. I'm already heavy and cumbersome. So if I can run in a shoe that lightens it up a little bit compared to other max stack cushioned daily trainers, then that's a shoe that I'm gonna pull for. I don't really want a shoe that's gonna slow me down. I'm already slow. So I don't need a crazy bouncy shoe for every run. But it's nice having a recovery shoe that has that range to where it's not gonna make me slow or slow me down, but it'll give me just enough pop where I'm not having to drive power just to run at a normal daily pace. Okay, what I'm noticing so far in the midsole is it's protective, has a nice roll through, feel a decent rocker, and getting just an ever so slight pop off the forefoot. That soft sinking feeling from version 5 is still very prevalent, but just a gentle bounce. Not crazy, but a nice bounce. And it feels very light, very much in that max stack of 41.5 millimeters of stack in the heel, 33.5 in the forefoot. So obviously that 8mm drop, but for having that much stack, ASICS does a great job of keeping their shoes light. This feels on par with the Novablast, the outsole. So I'm 1.5 miles in on my first run in this shoe, and honestly, I can feel it right now. I already can tell. When you know, you know. IYK, right? If you know, you know. For me, this is the best daily trainer in 2026. If this stays the way it is, the Triumph 24 is gone. As much as I love the colorway, the pure nitro is gone. I care about what performs. This foam is really coming to life. The FF Blast Max is the majority of this midsole, and it's the same midsole that was found in version 5, and very soft, very protective, and that had a little bit of a bounce to it, but not much. But I was worried it would feel disjointed, that it would feel like two different shoes. This soft, mushy heel and this firm, bouncy forefoot. But honestly, they just work together. You have like the s'more when you construct it of the firm graham cracker and the Hershey with the marshmallow that has some bounce to it. And then when you melt it a little bit, that cookie softens up a little bit. The chocolate becomes melty, and so does the marshmallow. It all kind of melds together and makes one delicious bite. And that's what I feel right now. All of these parts, this comfortable upper, this lightweight max stack package, it's very stable, has a grippy outsole, a very nice geometry with a decent rocker to it, and this midsole foam that has two different parts to it, but really it works as one. It's not flinging me forward, but that's a good thing, because I can run at this broad range of paces, walking into a slow, easy recovery jog. My heart rate is low, and then here I am just giving a tiny bit of gas, and it's popping off the forefoot. So nice. This is definitely daily trainer of the year territory. For $155, what a steal. What a steal, man. This is exactly what the consumer, the runner, wants in their daily package. And I'm loving this $150 to $160 price point right now. So many good options. You're bound to find one that works for you. The Dynafish Xiaoyan, the Red Hair 9 Ultra from Li-Ning, the Pure Nitro at $150, and you have this coming in at $155. Such a banger category and territory that you could really make a beast of a rotation from 2 or 3 of those offerings from that price point. You don't need, oh, here we go. You do not need a $200 running shoe in 2026. Not like you ever did. But I feel like right now with the market, there's this big disparity between the 150-ish price point and then everything that's over $200. This shoe right here is like that rookie that's on a Hall of Fame pace from year one and just tearing it up. These modern quarterbacks, you got like Joe Burrow, that are just on a tear. Justin Herbert, I'll take the crap for that one, on a Hall of Fame pace, breaking all these records from Peyton Manning's first few seasons, passing yards, touchdowns, just on a tear. This shoe right here, this shoe is the People's Champion. This is the 155 price point beast. Everyone needs to own this shoe. The only question I really have left is, how will it hold up? Is this going to be durable and dependable, run in and run out? Or is it going to fall apart quickly like RG3? I guess we'll find out. I'll have to get more miles on this shoe. I'm going to keep testing it because I'm talking all kinds of craziness. But my legs feel heavy and tired right now. It's taken me a lot longer to warm up into runs this past week. So, feeling really sluggish right now, but not that. All right, I'm back again, day 2, running in the Novablast 6. Will this shoe hold up to the mileage, both on a long run and across hundreds of miles? Because the biggest issue that version 5 had was its durability. It would die out on runs, and also it died after about 100 miles for most people. For me, it felt DOA, dead on arrival. Hopefully today, 10 miles in, will put me at 14 on the shoe, and I'll know for sure whether or not my prediction or calling this shoe the best daily trainer of 2026 was accurate or premature. We'll see. I think this is the best price, normal feeling shoe for marathon training. You should pick it up. You will not regret it. For a daily trainer to truly be king, it has to be able to do all of the things that you might throw at a shoe in a week of training. So let's get after it. All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. 1 minute. I'll check back in after the rep. All right, I just hit that rep at an 8:26 pace, 10K, maybe even half marathon pace, and it felt fine, felt great. Once you get past marathon pace in a soft shoe like this, even with that FF Turbo squared in the front, you're really asking the shoe to do more than what it's intended for. If you're buying this shoe to be a super trainer at 155, you'll be disappointed. If you're looking for a very versatile daily trainer that has some speed capabilities, but also feels soft and plush enough to do your easy paces, then that's where this shoe will really come alive and sing for you. All right, I'm going through my little trail, RIP, all white shoes. Oh yeah, this thing is going. 10 reps in. This foam is not dying at all. Man, sometimes these workouts are just so grindy. Daily grind mentality, man. You might not always have it, but you have to give what you do have. Just gotta get the work in, man. All right, well, this shoe has me rethinking the whole daily trainer category and market. I was seriously considering never buying a daily trainer again, but these shoes still do have a place on the market and on your foot in 2026. This shoe gives me everything I want in a daily trainer. I was able to run 10 miles yesterday and have the versatility where the easy pace portion of my run felt great, and on my reps it also felt great. I thought this category was dead. I own so many quote-unquote super trainers, so this kind of a shoe falls to the wayside. But I think for 155, I really mean it. This shoe really does hold its own. And as it stands right now, I would run a marathon in this shoe. Now, I wouldn't wear it if I was going for a PR. I'm about 4 hour to 420 range right now, just being conservative. I'm really going for sub 4 this fall. But if I was gonna pace like the 5 hour or 5:30 pace group, I would definitely wear this shoe. I think for what ASICS is trying to accomplish within its own lineup with the Novablast series, that this is about perfect. I can't think of much that I would change or alter to this shoe, and really I could see why they still make it and why they're doing the things they have done with this shoe. I think that for someone that does not want all of the heft and the weight of a gel Nimbus, which is me, then if you still want a comfortable and bouncy and soft package out of your easy and recovery day shoe, then the Novablast really is the one to pick up. I still want something that is light enough, that is bouncy enough, that still has the softness, the protection, and that cushion comfort, while still having that little bit of bounce off the toe, that little bounce off the front from the trampoline pod. This is the one to get. The Superblast 3 and the 2 is still available here and there, but version 3 is the current shoe. That is a elevated, higher stack, even softer and bouncier super trainer. I've heard people say that it is no longer a super trainer because of how soft it is, and I wholeheartedly disagree, because it has those superior qualities from the FF Elite foam. But in a toned down package for $55 cheaper, you can get the Novablast 6 that is not quite as soft and bouncy, and I don't feel the Novablast 6 is telling me how to run. It's not forcing me into a certain stride or pace. It's not bouncing me along too much. I can really hang back in this shoe, and it feels so pleasant that this really does kind of slot into that range where if I'm going to run for an hour or less, and I could have some strides at the end where I have some pace pickups, or on the opposite end, I'm just going out there and stacking miles and getting in those, 6 miles in an hour. For me, that's like the easier end of daily paces. And this shoe is a shoe I could just pull for without much thought. If you have the Novablast, then you might not need the Superblast, but I kind of like having both, to be honest. Where the shoe I would remove from my own lineup would be, well, Sonic Blast is not even a consideration for me, and the Mega Blast just did not work for me. I wasn't a big fan of the foam, although it was punchy and bouncy It was very firm and the upper was terrible. So I think that if you like the comfort oriented aspect of running shoes, that you don't mind some softness in your shoes, then the Nova 6 for daily and the Superblast for long runs. Welcome to the post-run wrap-up of the Novablast 6. But before we get into how this shoe performed on the run, I want to go backwards in the Novablast line before we come forward to version 6. So I have with me version 5. I do not have version 4, and we'll get into why. I have version 3, and I do not any longer have version 2. But my first Novablast was version 2, and it was a very good shoe. I got over 200 miles in that shoe. It was a max stack, cushioned tank with a little bit of bounce off of the forefoot pod. One of my favorite shoes of all time. Going forward into version 3, they made some changes. They made it a little bit punchier. They made the foam a little bit softer, and they made this trampoline pod more pronounced. And I did get over 100 miles in the Novablast 3, but it was not as good of a shoe, in my opinion, as version 2. So I think it had some mixed reviews. It was well liked by some and not so liked by others. I think if you were a fan of version 2, then maybe you did not like the version 3 as much. If you were new to the line and never tried version 1 or version 2, then typically people were fans of version 3. Moving on to version 4, I tried it. They made it way firmer, way less bouncy. It was a brick. I basically tried it and got rid of it almost immediately. So I don't have version 4. I never liked version 4. And then version 5 came out and they changed the foam. They redesigned the shoe and they made it more of that max stack cushioned shoe again, which kind of harkens back to the version 2 that I was talking about. But instead of the foam being firmer and punchier, they gave it this FF Blast Max treatment, which this is a very soft foam. I mean, you could tell from version 3 to version 5, just 2 versions. This is more of like a dart shaped arrow, and this is a lot bigger, a lot more bulbous. I mean, look, this shoe almost looks like a low stack daily trainer compared to how much bulk is in this shoe. And that's a sign of the market and where it's come, but also just where they've brought this shoe line. Now version 5, again, it was just that mushy feeling foam. There's not a lot of energy return in FF Blast Max. It does feel soft and cushioned, so this became one of my favorite shoes for daily and casual use. I did not get a lot of running miles in the Novablast 5. It just never felt good. I had an all black pair and this pair, and neither one of them really felt good for running, and again, just use them for casual use. So when they came out and said that they were upgrading the foam, look, you can see it up in the front, FF Turbo Squared, which is found in the Mega Blast. You have people excited about the possibilities of what the Novablast series could be once again. And for me, maybe it could be on that same level of the version 2. And even for those that ran in version 1 say that it was the most bouncy shoe at the time when they got it. So it really was a revolutionary shoe for a daily max stack shoe with some nice bounce. So in version 5, they still have the FF Blast Max that runs the entirety of the midsole. So before I get into the new midsole, we'll start with the upper. You have this nice padded upper, this breathable mesh that really hugs the foot well, fits true to size, and has a gusseted tongue, really just wraps the foot in nicely. I love this anatomical elf heel. Overall, a fantastic upper. I think it is a little bit simple, but for the price point of $155, no complaints here whatsoever. I also think it looks really nice in this white and gray colorway. They don't have a ton of exciting colorways, but overall, I think it looks really good. Moving on to the outsole. The biggest problem I had with the previous iterations is that this outsole is just so slick. Not very grippy, especially when it's wet. It is durable, but it felt like they got worse. The outsoles across the models just were not good. So when they introduced their new ASICS Grip Rubber to the Novablast, I can say that without a shadow of a doubt, this is a much improved outsole, and it should be very durable, and the grip is much improved. So I'm very excited about ASICS grip and where they are taking their lineup with the new rubber compound that they have. But on to this midsole, right? This is the hero of the shoe, or the zero, depending on what shoe you're holding. But this FF Blast Max is still that same soft and squishy midsole. I mean, look at that. I can just fold this like a taco. And overall, it has a nice cushioned landing that feels very soft, very protective, and just feels very comfortable to put on, to walk in, and to run. But the difference is between this and version 5 is that they did add that turbo squared. And you can see it on the bottom here. It just runs the entirety of this forefoot. And the FF Turbo Squared is an aliphatic TPU that is tuned for daily training. And so for me, how it rode is I would land nice and soft with the FF Blast Max. And when I roll through and really press in and dig into this toe, I was getting a very nice responsive bounce on toe off. So you kind of land and you'd sink in a little bit. Even though I can squeeze it in like this, it's not entirely easy to squeeze it down. So it's like, it is soft, but it doesn't just collapse. So you land, you sink in, you get a nice, soft, protective feel that's very comfortable. You roll through and you get that nice bounce. And I can just, you can see how it's very responsive. Even just pressing it in, it really bounces back so nicely. So overall, I was able to hang back on my first 4-mile run at a 10:30 pace. I knew right away that I was going to get along very well with this shoe. It felt so comfortable at my easy paces, just cruising along, just clipping those 4 miles. And then when I ran that 10-mile long run, it felt, of course, comfortable in my warm-up, but then I was unsure how I was going to perform when I got into the reps. And those reps were between 7:55 and 8:30, but most of the reps were around 8:30. Just, I was feeling tired. But when I got down to that 7:55 to 8:30 pace, the shoe really came alive. I was surprised at how well it held up to the intervals and the reps at those faster paces. Now, of course, you know, it is a very compliant shoe that you can bend easily. So you're not the best toe off for those kind of paces. But for a daily trainer, I'm looking for a shoe that can hang back and go easy. When I ran at my daily paces, which for me is around 9 to 9:30 typically, then it felt great. But when I got even down to that 8:30 pace, it felt amazing, which for me, that's sub-marathon pace. So that really shows me that this shoe is much upgraded with the new foam. It has incredible pace versatility. You're miles in, and for those reasons, I have named this the best daily trainer of 2026. And when I say that, I'm not talking about the best shoe overall. I'm not talking about it as far as being compared to, you know, $200 plus shoes that I would more so put in the super trainer category. I'm talking about the shoes that are in that $150 to $170 price point that are in their daily trainer category and market, without the superior tech and, you know, race foams and all of those things. Just a shoe that you can get out there, gives you a pleasant, comfortable, cushioned ride, but also can give you a little bit of bite when you want it. Now, there are faster shoes, there are more responsive shoes, 100%. But the range of versatility that you get in this shoe is what really sets it apart from other models. Now, maybe it is a tiny bit misleading when you see FF Turbo Squared. You think the Mega Blast, but that is a $225 shoe, which has FF Turbo Squared in the entirety of the midsole. This is only a portion of the front. But if I was going to put this in line with the rest of the Blast lineup from ASICS, I actually would take this shoe and the Super Blast 3 over the Mega Blast and the Sonic Blast. So some people are saying that this shoe kind of gets lost in the sauce a little bit with its own lineup. But personally, I think that this shoe has enough of a distinct ride that it can carve out a role in your lineup and rotation. And I don't think it gets lost in the sauce between the Mega Blast and the Super Blast. So there you have it, the full review of the ASICS Novablast 6. Until next time, every mile counts, and stay on that daily grind.